Yinka. He said, the man dies in all who keep quiet in the face of tyranny. Now, my own position is, as of today, Nigeria is in a state of war. You could call it a war of attrition. But we are turning against each other. The Muslims are the so-called Muslims are fighting the so-called Christians up north. There are people who are now kidnapping. There are people who now believe that, look, in order to get power, you need to have money. And in order to get money, you must take up arms. Now, these are very fundamental issues. And I believe they are coming up at this point in time because people are not expressing their views for whatever reason. Maybe, in my own constituency, people don't have the same kind of opportunities that others have in court. Rule of law is no longer about everybody being equal before the law. So you have to do something in order to have a stake, in order to stake your own rights. And that is the situation we find ourselves in. So we have to sit down now and talk.
All right, look at this perspective. Certain groups say there's nothing wrong with laws.
Yes.
If we implement about 50, 60% of them, we will be doing okay. And some of them think, as a matter of fact, it's just leadership. Just do the right thing, provide power, electricity, sort poverty out. And they think, look, you won't need this conference. While others think we need to talk. So what if those who say we need to talk come forward and talk, while those who think nothing wrong with it now say, well, we told you, all of what you've itemized can be sorted out if we do the right things in terms of provide this, this, and this. Would that form a common ground for both sides?
I belong to the school of people who say actually that, I've said it here several times, we have enough laws to regulate our relationships. We have enough. Many of them are gathering dust. But, the situation we have on our hands is no longer such that it's all about, some people, you have a political class, you have the electorate. The way we perceive those who are ruling us is very negative. If only for that reason alone, I believe that, we have modeled our constitution after the American constitution, presidential system. And if we go back in history, in 1787, the Americans had to come together in Philadelphia. Well, whatever name they called it, it had so many names. Constitutional Conference, Federal Conference, Philadelphia Conference. Whatever name they called it, they all decided to sit down together, and it took them 4 months. And they produced a model constitution that has regulated their relationships for the past 250 years or more. But they sat down. Now, at the point of converging in Philadelphia, there was the fear that this whole meeting was just a prelude to the final break up of the entity. But by the time they finished talking, surprisingly, they all went away with some joy, and they said, look, if we all agree to this, let us try it out. And they've tried it out for over 250 years. It has worked for them. I don't want to be negative, and I don't agree with the situation where politicians who some years back were clamoring for a debate, for a discussion, are suddenly saying, oh, no, it's coming too close to an election year. What election? And
they say they don't trust the intention.
What election? Are you talking about an election that is already subject matter in courts of law? People are already challenging, they are already saying, no, the sitting president should not contest. It's already sub judice. You talk of the Anambra election that is coming up in less than 2 weeks' time. Some parties don't even know their candidates. Why do we talk about an election that may actually be a prelude to the breakup of this country?
Another conference?
Yes. Why are people saying, oh, we should wait till after the election? What election? Is anybody sure of whether the election would actually hold with the state of affairs? That is my position. What is wrong in talking? We can talk, and it may just be a place where we all sit down and we say, look, I think the best thing is to break up. All we should ensure is that it should not be politicized. Ethnic nationalities should be adequately represented. It should be a bottoms-up situation where people are actually chosen by their people from the grassroots to go and represent them.
How can they do that?
Good. Now, you have, we have about 250 to 300 ethnic nationalities in Nigeria. That can be taken for granted. From what we've read, there are different languages. Now, I believe that a start-off point is the committee that has been set up. Instead of calling it names, saying it is doomed to fail, it's motivated by political expediency and all that. Let's give it a chance. Now, provided that, unlike previous discussions, where you have the politicians or the people at the helm of affairs choosing the people that will represent them at the discussions, let them start from the grassroots. Let the so-called conference or the discussions, let us start having them from the villages, from the towns. Let the traditional rulers call their people. Now, what is our own problem in this village? What do we want to present at the so it should be two-tiered. The first tier is the one at the local level where issues that will be tabled at the national level will be discussed, and two, representation will be discussed. And if we all agree that at this so-called discussion, we should have at least one or two representatives for each of the ethnicities. Because I am emphasizing the ethnic nationalities because the major problem in this country is about distrust for the man from the other side. That is why you have a situation where the man up north will say, it is our turn. Why should the man from the southwest be there for so long? Why should the man from the south be there for so long? It is because our primary loyalty is to our ethnic groups. Most Nigerians do not see Nigeria before they see their villages.
You don't think this?
It is only when we play football. Yes.
You don't think this talk will deepen that divide?
That is the point. We can actually sit down together, and majority of the people there would actually say, we need to go our separate ways. Now, there's nothing new in what is happening. If you are a student of government or history, there was a Sir Henry Wilnick Commission, I think in the 50s. It had to do when the issue of creating regional governments, when it came up, so many of the minorities, the minority groups, they were worried. Look, why do you want to subsume us under this big this Yoruba nation, the Hausa nation, the Igbo nation? That was the issue. Because at that point in time, some people felt that, look, they are just going to obliterate us. Now, whether we like it or not, the regions were created. Things, to me, I feel from what I've read and a bit of what I've seen, I think at that point in time, the relationships were better. The divide was not so wide. Now, the same thing has now happened. Much power has been given to the center, and the regions are crying again. Now, the discussion is going to be about what is going to be the basis of our relationship? Are we going to have regions? Are we going to just go our separate ways? Or each ethnic nation will just go its own separate way without going under a particular region? Now, if that happens, it may be that we go our separate ways. But let us talk about it and agree how we'll go about it.
You know, a host of people have also, I think the way they've shown their concern is what exactly will come out of the talk.
Yeah.
That's a major concern for them. And, you know, I think that some of them developed cold feet when they heard that it was going to go back to the National Assembly and then for input into the Constitution. What way would you be advocating?
I don't agree that we should go back to the National Assembly. Every institution in this country is tainted. Nobody can be trusted. My own belief is that whatever discussions we have will be subjected to a referendum. Every Nigerian must have a say. The people that have gone there have been instances where people were represented constituent assembly and they get there, they get born again in the negative way. Now, what I'm saying is, whatever decisions are reached, it is subjected, that